Well, I dedicated my whole life to bread. As far as I can remember, I was born and raised in Paris, in a French bakery, with a baking dad, flour, loaves of bread, new baked, fire, dough, yeast, sourdough. I know everybody's getting hungry right now. And it's always been fascinating me, people dancing and offering themselves, offering their nights, their days, their weekends, their holidays, to please us, to please all of us. Because bread is so connected to mankind. Everybody here has something to see with bread. Either you like it or not, you can eat it or not, you like it that way or that way. Some of you may be allergical to it, but you still try to find something to replace it, because it has to be bread. Bread is it's like me. Under thousands of years, we've been thriving thanks to bread, especially here in Europe. And I think it's amazing for me, a French baker, to be in Sweden and see the whole perspective from all Europe. There is such a biodiversity of bread, which reflects the biodiversity of our climate, of our culture. As us, as different as we are, we can compare a very traditional Northern Europe loaves, which is very sour with the whole grain flour, and compared to maybe an Italian bread, which is very fluffy and white flour, tastes almost nothing. It doesn't matter because you're going to put on it some great tomato, basilica, olive oil, lemon juice. From being a basis of our food, could be just a sidekick, something that helps us putting the food in your mouth. Evolution worked. We became more efficient. And after this World War II, bread changes quite a lot. Industry came in, and everything about bread was about to change. I've been witnessing it myself. I was there. As a little kid, I saw my dad getting pissed off as the flour maker at the miller because they started to put additives in the flour, and the big machines and the other bakers, and while he was refusing to evolve, like to make those kind of tubes of air, like you could carry under your arm and go around with. And I think it's been a terrible journey for bread. From being one of the most nutritious and amazing food we have, it became something totally different. Flour has changed, the way of growing wheat has changed. Wheat is fantastic. Today we speak about wheat, but we have to speak about wheat in a much wider aspect. So wheat has evolved and has become something as well, which is totally different, connected to the way we grow it and which kind we grow. And today, you see in the bakery, the process is totally different. Big bread industry has been changing the way of making bread, removing the cereals we were using for many years, removing all the greatest part of the grain, like the germ and the brown, keeping just the inside, this little white part in the middle that almost had no nutrition. But kneading it, mixing in the machine, very, very hard to oxidate it, to build the gluten and make the bread extremely powerful and strong. So after, we could use yeast to proof it and create the hair inside. Hair is amazing, hair is free. It's great. It's the best ingredient you could have in food. Makes everything so cheap. So, and that's the yeast. Those thousands of years of bread we had behind us, that took us here. If we're here today, it's because of bread, because our ancestors have learned to grow wheat and transform it into flour and make it into bread, and break the code to make grain healthy. You can't just eat wheat. Like wheat, it's a capsule of life. It's a plant putting its gene, this most valuable part, into a small capsule and throwing it away so it could grow next year to carry on and keep the kind like growing and coming back year after year after year. It is locked. And the best way to unlock it, it's the proofing, it's the yeast, it's the sourdough. The sourdough is an amazing thing. Man, when we speak about yeast, I know the word yeast is very, very hard to describe. For all of us, yeast today is like a small cube of something gray. We don't really know what it is. For me, if I define yeast, if I try, I don't know if you like boxing movies, if you've seen Rocky, the fourth. Have you seen it? It's like, well, it's not very complicated. It's like you have Ivan Drago, which is like a 2-meter Russian, very strong, six-pack. His goal is like in the boxing ring, and he has boxing, and his goal is to break down the other guy in front of him. He's there, and he's hitting right and left and right and left. For him to be there, it's like it's the high point of his life. Everything he's been training for. He's been training so hard to get there and to break the other guy. His trainers, they are behind him. They are here like pushing him. You're right, left, do more. The clock is ringing. Then he's sitting down. And they're like giving some advice. You have to do more. Because for them, if he wins, they win too. And behind it, you have hundreds of thousands of people all around, like saying, yeah, do it. Because if you win, they win as well. This could be very natural for everybody in that room, in that big place. It's natural. I mean, a guy trying to kill another one with his bare hands. For me, which is on the side and look at them, I think like, well, think if Ivan Drago had a great mom and dad that give him time and love and long discussions about education and what you could do. Imagine the great thing he could have made. Maybe that guy could have become one of them, spread some love and good things, help people with his strength, with his muscles, instead of becoming a killing machine. What have we done with Ivan Drago? He's been removed from where he's from and put in a new area, a new world, where everything is different. For him, it's totally normal to be there and eat, and for me, it's not normal. And that's the whole discussion we have to be about nature. What's natural? What's not natural? Are we made to kill each other? Or are we made to love each other and help each other? And that's the whole debate about natural, because that's something we've been served all day long. Natural additives, natural coloring, natural gluten, natural this and that. For me, what's natural is what's nature put in something naturally. Otherwise, it's not natural. Yeast has been changed. It's not what we know today. That's why when I look at the sourdough, I look at biodiversity. I look at the world of microorganisms that are all perfect, because nature is perfect. I don't know, make the game one day. Go outside right now when it's sunny, look at a bee, and stay there, look at it. When you look at a bee, you look at millions of years of evolution. You look at an animal that is totally perfect. There is nothing to change, nothing to remove. It's just perfect. And that's the whole thing about bread. Why bread can change the way we see nature and we see natural processes. That's why I call myself as a small little French baker. I am so small. I'm 40-year-old, coming in a world that took millions of years to evaluate, to create itself, that it's so perfect, which means that when I don't know what to do, then I just rely on nature, which for me is to mix water and flour. When I do that, it can't be wrong. It can just be right. Joel, do you have the beauty? So you think this is bread? Well, it's not. This is not bread. This is air. This is air. I could take real bread, put it in my mouth, and just a little breeze. And then I could have all the air inside my mouth without all the additives and all the shit you have to put in that one to get it in there. Because air is free. This is food we are talking about. Food, you measure food not in weight, not in protein. You measure it by nutriment. We eat to be healthy. We eat to get nutriment inside of you, to be happy. We eat to experiment flavor. We eat to interact with each other. And this, unfortunately, has taken over bread. So that's why go back to old cereals, old method, everything hang around, everything is hanging together. Don't take just one part of something, take everything. If you change the way you see a flour and cereals, change the way you prove it. It has to take time. It has to become extremely nutritious. So, can I have the real thing? Thank you. So this is my baby. This is a bread that took 40 hours to rest and proof, and everything happened in there. It's such amazing. So maybe you don't have to understand it, just feel it. Close your eyes, take a slice, experiment it, be happy, and be healthy. Thank you.